Now, if you've been living in South Australia or deep diving into Australia's electronic music history, the name DJ Trip has probably popped up. Maybe not in the foreground, but he's been there for a long time. I'm talking about 22 years. DJ Trip is a very talented South Australian artist. Has been producing very distinctive broken beats for the duration. So it's my great pleasure to welcome DJ Trip Tyson to the Backbeat today.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on the show, and Happy New Year to you as well.
And now we're talking today because you've just dropped a new track.
Yeah, my new single is called "I Kill For You," which is a electronic, world kind of aggressive song, which is a bit satanic, and is paired with visuals by Luku Cuckoo. If you check out the video clip. And basically, when I was doing my research about my song, like, where do I put it? Because I don't really fit into genres. I realized that I fit into a few new genres coming up in the world, electro shabi and shamstep, the two main ones, were sort of like Middle Eastern electro.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's good that I found like a home accidentally.
No, that's cool, and really that speaks to, I mean, my impression of you and your music over the years is that you've definitely done your own thing. That's how I best describe it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I've stuck in my own lane. I haven't really followed anyone else. I just get lost in creating my own pathway and creating my own opportunities and own building projects from the ground up, which whatever excites me and whatever comes to my brain. Bit of a maths professor that way.
Oh, that's great, and I certainly have many fond memories over the years of seeing you perform, and you really throw yourself into the music, which is not necessarily the norm for a lot of electronic musicians.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really like to. It being a solo artist, I really like to put a performance on as if I'm a band or the energy of a rock band. And I think it's really important to sort of be confident and vulnerable and just lose yourself on stage while you're performing. It allows people to, relate to you, and it helps them unlock, their freedom on the dance floor as well. The bottom line for me is I'm just an entertainer, and I just want to entertain people with my style of, my flavour of sound.
Oh, and it's great that you've been able to do that, not only in the obvious places where one might find electronic music, but also in a lot of really interesting collaborations. What are some of the recent departures outside that world of electronic and dance music that you've applied your creativity?
Oh yeah, so over my career, really briefly, I've done a lot of sound installation work. One of the highlights is a permanent installation at the Darrenberg Winery at the Darrenberg Cube. There's an installation called Music for Vines, where my music's conducted in real time by a weather machine. So the weather machine picks up all the information of what's happening in the weather, and then it's communicates with music software, and my music's performed. And then I've done a lot of stuff with 8-bit video game inspired music, creating stuff off a Nintendo Game Boy, and early in my career a lot was created on the Commodore Amiga, and I also did some gigs in New York with artists supporting me, such as one of the creators of music for Tetris on the N64, the game Tetris, which was pretty crazy, and I've also had some collaborations and recordings with Brian Ritchie from the Violent Femmes,
Wow.
and a few other local artists, who have, blown up, in the scene. Yeah, there's so many projects I've done. I've done a lot of video game, sort of video game controller events and video game nights, and just experimental electronic nights. One of the new highlights coming up for the Adelaide Fringe, performing as a part of the Royal Croquet Club. I've got the opportunity, fortunate enough, to remix Steve Reich, who is an American minimalist kind of classical composer, and he did this famous piece called Music for 18 Musicians, which is a phasing piece, and 18 musicians perform it, and it's very difficult to perform. That's going to be performed live, and then I'm going to be performing live a 30-minute remix or reimagine of that song with live visuals using 3D cameras, which will pick up my movements, all my body movements and what I do on stage, and turn them into 3D objects and like particle effects and that kind of stuff. Tickets are available now as well. The Fringe site.
You've had an always surprising career, looking back at it, in just these, well, what feels like a fairly short 22 years, but a very rich one.
Yeah.
And you've somehow managed to bring a lot of people with you too. I mean, I'm thinking about your fascination with vintage video gaming technology and computers. And I mean, as a young person in the 90s, I think seeing you perform with an Amiga was like probably quite an important moment for me, where it made me think that actually any kind of electronic tool can be used for the making of art.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that wasn't really a choice out of trying to be cool or trying to make a statement. That was out of necessity. I was at the start of my career, I was very broke.
Yeah, sure.
And I got a Commodore Amiga in high school. All my friends had one. We were trying to make video games and demos. The first thing which encouraged me to make music or start my music career was me and my friend at this computer party won the music contest, and it was held at Flinders University. It was super nerdy, but it gave me that first step up of confidence that I could do this. But my Amiga was out of necessity because that's what I had in high school, and I didn't drive a car, so I'd ride my bike to gigs. Have my Amiga in a trumpet case I got from an op shop. The Amiga software had no real-time effects, so I had guitar pedals which I plugged on the output of the Amiga, and I had a pocket TV, which is usually used for caravans, as my monitor, so I could fit everything in the trumpet case. And I took that when Ben Speed and I were the New Pollutants, we even took that kind of setup to the big day out in the boiler room. So, I stayed true to this kind of lo-fi approach for a long time. Because it just felt like home, when you have an instrument you love, you stick with it.
When I listen back to your early work as well, I can still hear, even in your new single, that crunch and grit that is almost part of the architecture of an Amiga.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that as my projects and opportunities grew, I needed to upgrade my technology. So I got a PC, and then it took me a couple of years to get my sound back using the newer software. But I had to work to keep that grit and my signature sound. It's what resonates for me and what excites me. So yeah, I'm happy that I've stayed true to myself over the 22 years. And yeah, it does sound like my old stuff, but it's new as well. Or it just sounds like me. That's the main thing. I'm not trying to pander or follow a trend, because all that stuff is transient. For me, it's about just being authentic, and I enjoy creating dark spaces. I think it's a rich place for people to escape their day and lose their minds on the dance floor.
That's a great sentiment, and we're very happy for the service that you continue to provide.
Thanks. It's a community service I provide. Yeah.
It also seems like you're still revealing aspects of yourself that are perhaps less familiar to some of your longer term fans. I see that you actually have some Romanian Gypsy heritage, and that perhaps that's played out in this current single.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my grandpa. He was Romanian, and he used to play us a lot of gypsy stuff when I was a kid. And his village was next to Transylvania, and we used to talk about vampires and all that kind of stuff quite a bit. So I'm quite obsessed with that gypsy sound and Middle Eastern stuff. There's something exotic and erotic about it, and gritty. Being in Adelaide, trying to think global but act local, with my music. Yeah, like the other thing, I'm revealing now is I identify as a disabled artist as well, which has been a big thing. For many years I was always denying myself. in front of audience and that stuff, and I have a disability. And I think it's important that people see, so you can lead by example. You know, some of the most inspiring artists I've collaborated with and which inspire me around the world are people with disabilities, because they overcome stuff every day, but also they turn into amazing art that gives them another lens to see the world through. You know, it all started as a kid. Like in primary school, I wasn't allowed to dance in the dance classes. I was because of my legs. So the teacher would get me to press play on the tape for everyone to do the dance class, and they used to call me Mr. Music.
and so it began.
Yeah, and then that inspired me to start making mixtapes in primary school, and I used to wrangle girls at recess to dance in the courtyard to my mixtapes from records from my dad's collection. So I was getting to dance to Frank Zappa, Devo, and Grandmaster Flash, back in the 80s. So
the compulsion was there at a very early age.
Yeah, that's right. And also my parents had a jukebox in the lounge. It held 50 records, 57-inch records, and they taught me how to count on the jukebox, actually, because they used to get me to, they would request songs, and I'd have to press like the letter B and number 10 or something, you know, the different combinations. But one of the people who really got me into music would be my specialist who worked on my legs when I was born, up to the age of 19. He said, like, you can't do sport, you got to use your brain, maybe be creative. And so he pushed me into creativity.
Now, coming back to your single, Trip, if people want to get a hold of it or have a listen, where can they find it?
Yeah, you can find the song. It's available globally on all the streaming services. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Music and Deezer, Tidal. The video clip's available on YouTube. It's on Bandcamp as well. Yeah, but you can find links via my Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, check out the song. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's a great summery song, and also, as I put on Spotify, it's a great song for rituals or if you've got urges of bloodlust.
We'll take that as tongue-in-cheek, of course.
No.
Thanks a lot, DJ Trip. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, and we're wishing you all the very best with your new single. I'll call for you.
Thanks a lot.